what's going on, everybody? Hopefully, everybody's having a good weekend and all that good stuff. So, today, let's get right into it. And we have to talk about this because this came out today. This is very important. And this is why I'm telling you do not give up because hope always gives us faith to keep on hanging on. When people doubt and say, no, it's not going to happen and blah, 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 we already know the negativity. That just means that they're afraid. They're scared because they know that change is on the way. And at the rate that we're going at right now with WB and everything with this studio, this is proof right here. All right. So I was notified today about this update. And this right here is something that we definitely have to break down. We have to really look at this. All right. As always, hit that subscribe, share the video, all that good stuff. We're going to really go deep with to this, and let's just get into it. Appreciate everybody for watching and tuning in and all that good stuff. All right, what's up? What's up to everybody? Appreciate y'all for all tuning in. So we will get into this right now. So I'm just looking at the comments real quick, just giving y'all some what do you call it? The shout outs and all that good stuff. So we are going to get into it. All right, so look, let's get this cracking. All right, so Ben Affleck, during this whole press and everything that has to do with the accountant too, he was asked straight up, like, is there a possibility to see you once again reprise, your role as Batman? And Ben himself said this: anything is possible. All right. Why would he say that? I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm gonna be straightforward with y'all. I think behind the closed doors, things are being arranged and things are changing. Things are shifting. With the way that things are going right now with James Gunn and his DCU, this is not a coincidence. People want more of Ben Affleck. People want more of the Snyderverse. Say what you want, but that's what they made money with. And that's where people went out to the theaters. Now, the way that things are cooking right now and brewing over with the DCU and the MCU is, look, let's be real. The MCU is starting to grill again. Like they fired the grill up and things are starting to cook up and things are going to lead into Secret Wars. And WB knows that this whole Superman with James Gunn is DOA. They know that it's over. They know that it's done. So they're trying to probably work behind the scenes and say, hey, we need to do something about this, honestly. And if they don't act on this fast, they are literally going to lose everything. And this is the moment that they need so that they can come out and that they can prove how strong the studio truly is. And with this, I'm telling y'all right now, this is to give you hope. This is to give you motivation and to let you know, hey, this is what's happening. And Ben Affleck wouldn't be saying, hey, yeah, like anything is possible just for the hell of it. No, we know that Ben Affleck is a serious person and he's a serious filmmaker and an actor. So we know that he's loyal to Zack Snyder because, of course, if you didn't know, now you know that he came for those extended shoots that they did with the Snyder Cut, and he did it for free. He did a solid for Zack Snyder, and that's how he got, we were able to get that extra footage leading and setting things up with the Nightmare timeline in that epilogue scene. So are we going to see Ben Affleck again as the Dark Knight back in the Snyderverse? I think we are. I'm telling y'all, things are cooking. Things are happening. The DCU with James Gunn is done. That's it. There's no hope left with that reboot. And the studio knows it. The executives know it. The investors know it. The shareholders know it. The fans know it. All right. The customers and the consumers know that these things are not going to work under the leadership of James Gunn. And I'm telling y'all right now, it's no coincidence that Ben Affleck turned down James Gunn. It's not a coincidence that Henry Cavill didn't continue under James Gunn. He could have, but I'm sure, of course, James Gunn was like, you know what? Let's just go with somebody else. Because everything that's happening, I'm just telling y'all straight up, this is not coincidence. These things are happening for a reason. And the reason is because I think that the Snyderverse is going to make a strong comeback. And especially with the way that things are going right now, look, straight up, the DCU is done. There's no excitement. There's nothing going on for the DCU with James Gunn. It's not working with Creature Commandos. It's not working with Peacemaker. It's not working with anything that James Gunn is trying to put out there. They're creating all this fake, hype and all these fake numbers that, oh, it's the most watched and this and that. No, it's not. Let's be real. Numbers don't lie. And they can alter numbers online and say, oh, we had 20 million people stream it, when in reality, they only had probably like 20,000. See what I'm saying? They can do that. That's doable when it comes to online things like that. But when it comes to right now, with Ben Affleck himself saying this, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you straight up, and things are cooking. Things are cooking. And this is interesting. This is completely about to shift. I've been telling y'all, the more that we get into this reboot is how things are going to shift. And let's not forget, this would all fall under with what I had posted not long ago that Cinehouse had posted, and I shared it, that HBO Max wants exclusive content for an alternative DC, projects that they're working on. And who's going to come on board next year, starting in January? Comcast. And Comcast specifically asked WB, hey, what about Zack Snyder and David Ayer? And look, we got both of them back. This is not a coincidence. I'm telling you, like things are just being worked and they're being fixed and things are about to shift. And I'm telling y'all straight up. And this is going to be very interesting, honestly. And the way that things are right now, look, this is WB's moment. Once the DCU tanks, because we know is going to tank, I'm telling you straight up, there's no doubt and ifs or buts. The Snyderverse is getting restored. That's it. It's getting restored. After Super Flop, right? It's done. You think WB's going to be like, hey, we're done with the cinematic universe? Hell nah. They know that they make too much money. They make too much damn money. And all of this going on, they're aware of us. They know us. They hear us. They see us. They're on top of all of us. I'm sure that they've probably seen some of my podcasts or whatever. And I'm sure they've come across it. But good. That's the whole point. That's why I'm here, spitting these facts, giving y'all motivation. It's hard, especially seeing how all this negativity with the DCU is starting. It's like it's all backfiring on WB. It's all backfiring. And I'm telling y'all, I've been saying it for a while. I never trusted James Gunn from the beginning. To everybody that said, oh, give him a chance, you're fake. You've never been a real fan. The real fan wouldn't sit here and say, yeah, let's give him a chance. Get out of here with that nonsense. I called it since day one that James Gunn was the Trojan horse, and he still is the Trojan horse. He's been sent by Marvel and Disney to destroy and sabotage everything in DC. And it's done. I told you, this is the final nail in the coffin. For Ben Affleck to come out and say anything is possible, remember the same thing was said for the Snyder Cut. Remember, Zach was saying it. He was like, yo, we have to keep on pushing. We have to keep on doing. And we're seeing it. And that's exactly what's been happening. Zach, not once, neither Ben Affleck have said that they're done. They both were talking at that, what was Full Circle in 2023, that they were like, yo, we're ready. We're just waiting for WB to give us a call. That's it. Come on, baby. What's so hard? All you got to do is just call the man up and just tell him straight up. Let's film. Let's go. That's all it is, And look, I'm telling y'all straight up. I'm telling you straight up. This Superman is going to tank, and WB knows that it's straight up like a roller coaster. It's going straight down. And the stocks are not saving it. How come Minecraft? How come Barbie? How come all of these movies that made $1 billion aren't saving this company? Because it's not profitable. It's not working. And all the money that they're making is not enough. So it's going to come back to them. And how? They got to rethink. They got to re-strategize. They have to come up with a plan B. And let's not forget, it was probably in late 2023 when there was rumors going around that David Zaslav wanted to have a plan B, and that involved, like having the Snyderverse as a backup. And I'm telling you, this is going to be the time that they're going to pull that card out like a Uno and say, you know what? Boom, that's it. We have to. You damn right you have to. Look, at the rate that all of these things are slowly starting to align is just how we saw in the Snyder Cut when the Flash rewind time. All right. So when people say, oh, it's not, you can't restore the Snyderverse, it's too late, and this and that. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up, you can restore the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse is not fully done. It's on hold. It's on pause. It's on the sideline. You know, when you play sports and you see those, you know, those athletes waiting for their turn, that's exactly how the Snyderverse is right now. It's waiting on the sideline for its time again to shine. So when it's time, they're gonna be like, "Let's go, let's do this." You think Ben Affleck isn't gonna come back? You think Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, Jason, all of these people won't come back? Hell yeah, they'll come back in a heartbeat. I'm telling you straight up. At the way that we're not going to see Supergirl. We're not going to see Lobo. All of those are going to be a tax write-off, and they're gonna do it just like they did with Batgirl. They're gonna erase it and get a freebie so they don't get taxed, and they're gonna be like, "All right, well, we got money now. You know, like, what do we do with it?" All right, restore the Snyderverse. That's all you could do, baby. You have to restore the Snyderverse. This is why I tell y'all, you have to keep on looking at it. A lot of people are overlooking it. Once Comcast comes into play in 2026, things are about to change. Let's not forget, things are shifting. WB is a mess right now. It constantly goes like a yo-yo. It goes up and down. Oh, what do we do? Oh, that didn't work. How about this? It's not working. WB is going to have to accept the hard way. Look, we screwed up. We owe the fans and everybody an apology, but we're restoring the Snyderverse. You damn right. You should have just continued it. You should have never stopped it. We didn't need a reboot. Now they're going to learn the hard way. With Ben Affleck saying, "Hey, you know what? That anything is possible," sounds to me like when we were fighting for the Snyder Cut. The same way. Yo, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, this is not coincidence, people. It's things that are slowly developing and they have to take place. All right. And I'm sure the WB's right now looking, they're listening for sure. And they're going to be like, you know what? Yeah, we have to do it. We have to, because if not, we're going to lose money. Now, let's speculate. Now, I want to speculate. All right. Let's say after Superman, it does tank. What's happening? What's next? WB, you need to come out with the game plan. You need to announce to everybody. You need to let everybody know, hey, look, the Snyderverse is making a comeback. It has to come back because you know that it sells. You know that people are interested. You know by now, by doing your statistics, that people are willing to throw their money. Like the meme, shut up and take my money. That's how I am. Hey, WB, shut up and take my money. Here you go. This is all my money. And just with that, more fans are going to follow. You know, you have the new generation that they're like, hey, I want to know what's up with this. Where does this universe continue? Oh no, it just ended. No, it's not done. It's just there. It's on pause. This is why I'm here. Like I'm telling y'all, to motivate y'all and let y'all know. This is why the toxic James Gunn salty clowns are constantly barking. All they do is bark, but no bite, because they know that the Snyderverse is going to make a comeback. Soon we are going to see Ben Affleck's The Batman versus Joe as Deathstroke. This is a reason why I'm seeing why Joe didn't move forward with James Gunn. Think about it, people. Who's not working with James Gunn? Joe as Deathstroke, Henry Cavill as Superman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Ray Fisher as Cyborg. We have Mara, Amber Heard, and I get it. Some of you might be like, "Oh, but whatever, excuses. I don't want to hear it." We also have Ezra Miller. Again, I don't care about it. It's the actor playing the character. That's all I want as continuity, right? I don't care about their personal lives because we all have problems. So you have these characters in this cast. You think that they're not going to come back? Of course they are. How come they're not working with James Gunn? See what I'm saying? The same way that James Gunn used the Flash to reset time and try to erase, quote unquote, the Snyderverse, is the same way that Zack Snyder used the Flash to reset the timeline and erase Justice League. So don't come at us with that, oh, it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. Accept it. Accept it. That's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to go see Superman in July because everybody's going to be busy watching Jurassic World Rebirth, and everybody's going to be busy watching, what is it, Fantastic Four, and what other movies there is. Superman, yeah, it's caught in the middle. Jurassic World Rebirth is going to shadow Superman. And then the week after Superman, you have what? Fantastic Four that is also going to shadow it. Meanwhile, Jurassic World Rebirth is coming out during a holiday weekend, a long holiday weekend. You think that those numbers are not going to be high? They're going to be extremely high. And then when Superman comes out the week after, it's just going to be shadowed. Nobody's going to care because everybody's going to be rewatching Jurassic World Rebirth. That's what I'm telling you. And WB knows that they're done. They know that they're cooked. People are not gonna go out there and support it. Not enough people. Some people are gonna go watch it. It's just not going to be enough. This is why I'm telling y'all, my friends. I've been saying it. I've been fighting, and I've been telling you, do not lose hope. Don't lose hope, because when you have hope, what comes next? Faith. When you have faith, what else comes with it? Endurance, and everything is possible. This is why we did the same thing for the Snyder Cut. This is why I'm telling you, and I completely keep on emphasizing, if you want the Snyderverse to be restored, use that hashtag, restore the Snyderverse. I don't use the other hashtags. I'm not against them. But that's what I'm fighting for. All right. If you're fighting for Cell, that's you. I'm fighting, and I will continue to fight for restore the Snyderverse. When Ben Affleck says anything is possible, hell, that falls under the make the Ben Affleck movie, because it can happen. That also falls under restore the Snyderverse. It also falls under the Air Cut, because remember, Ben Affleck made his cameo in the Air Cut. Well, it's not the real Air Cut, but we're still fighting for it. Overall, this right here is giving hope to all of us. Anything is possible. It's like him saying, I can't tell you, but anything is possible. See what I'm saying? If there's money on the table, anything is possible. If the fans want it enough, anything is possible. If you haven't given up, anything is possible. This is why I continue to say we will stop at nothing. The studio hears us, they see us constantly on a daily basis. You imagine that on a daily basis? Oh, what's today? Oh no, we have all these people, again with the Restore Snyderverse. They keep on asking it. It's flooding WB's social media pages everywhere. Nobody's talking about James Gunn like that. Nobody's talking about the DCU like that. You don't see it. When you have Henry Cavill put up a picture with him next to wherever he's at, doing vacation, doing his family, it gets more likes, more shares than James Gunn. Hey, this is the new Superman. Nobody cares about it. Nobody's interested. We don't want that. We want Henry Cavill. A picture says a lot and is worth 1,000 words, right? How come those pictures, they completely go nuts on social media? This is why I'm telling you. Now, where does this put DC at right now? Well, if they don't get their act together, I'm telling you straight up, they're about to kamikaze when it comes to July. Not enough people are gonna go watch that movie. I'm telling you. And all the shills that are out there right now, the paid fake shills, with the fake paid media, trying to praise it, we see them kissing ass and sucking up to the studio. Oh, it's a must see. Watch, they're all gonna come out. It's a must see. You have to go see it. Oh, there's nothing better. This beats everything. Come on. Stop it with the shilling. Stop it with the fakeness. I see right through you like glass. I see through you. I see through those lies. Like Riddler said in the Batman, no more lies. Come on, no more lies. We know all those fakes. We know how many people grew their channel on the Snyderverse community and today have turned their back. And where are they right now? Shilling for James Gunn, WB, and this whole DCU. But the real loyal fans, the real loyal customers and consumers, and the ones that have the power with their money, whether it's physical or digital, right? Because that's the new excuse for these clowns, for James Gunn's followers. Oh, well, I'm keeping my physical wallet closed, and I'm keeping my digital wallet closed. Okay, clown. This also applies to digital. You want to play? You want to play that game? All right. Keep Apple Pay closed. Keep whatever you pay with your phone closed. That's it. You use it with a chip, don't use it. That's it. Simple as that. And they know that nobody's gonna go out there and give them the support. That's why for Ben Affleck to come out and saying anything is possible, let's just speculate. Like I said, let's put things together. Remember recently, Ben Affleck, I mean not Ben Affleck, Zack Snyder posted that picture that he was at I think it was his friends. I can't remember right now. I think it was Richard or somebody, that he was one of the person that wore the costume from Ben Affleck's version of Batman. And we're speculating. Could this be the return of the Dark Knight? It could be. Would that be a way to introduce Ben Affleck's Batman movie? The Dark Knight Returns? Hell yeah. It could be. That's what I'm saying. I'm speculating. WB, if you're listening, take notes. This is how you go about on it. You want to make that Marvel money? You finally want to make that Marvel money? I'm going to tell you the recipe that you need. It's very simple. Very simple, WB. All right. Listen and pay attention. Take your notes. You need to get Zack Snyder back. You need to get David Ayer back. Check and check. They're both back. We already know that. You need to bring back DC fandom. And you need to go live and introduce the next phase, the next ideas, the next whatever it is that you're doing. But you need Zack Snyder at the front line. You need David Ayer at the front line. You need to bring in Ben Affleck. You need to bring in Henry Cavill, and you need to bring in Gal Gadot so that they can announce and say, hey, we're all back. And I'm telling you right now, you will see immediately how the stocks will go up. They will go so high, and it will build interest, and it will build so much hype, and people are going to be hungry and talking about it, good and bad. Everybody's going to be talking about it because you're going to have the shills complaining and crying even more, saying, I can't believe it. The Snyderverse is back. It's restored. They actually did it. I can't, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. The same way that they were crying and complaining, and they're still crying and complaining that we got the Snyder cut because we have it on physical and we got it on digital. How amazing that is. There's no way that anybody could come and tell me straight up otherwise. I'm telling you, we need to keep on doing what we're doing. When people say, oh, the hashtags don't work. Oh, really? Really? They don't work? How come WB's using the hashtag when you type in Superman and it tries to attach you the little logo for the new movie? That's them using it. It's a hashtag. They know that it's moving. So the same thing. This is why I tell everybody I'm sticking just to restore the Snyderverse and release the Ayer cut because that's what I'm after, baby. That's it. I don't know about you, but I am. And I will keep on fighting for it. There's no stopping us. This right here should give us even more motivation. This is Ben Affleck himself. This is him himself saying anything is possible. He's speaking to us. You might be like, oh, you're going a little bit too far, this and that. Yeah, remember the same thing was said for the Snyder Cut. Remember that? I could remember when all the clowns were out there saying, oh, the Snyder Cut doesn't exist. That's a unicorn. It's made up and blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, boom. Once it was announced, they all changed. They all stayed quiet. They just had to accept it. And the same way that the same bozos have to accept that James Gunn's DCU with this reboot is DOA. It's done. There's no saving it. It's too late. The damage is already done. You cannot repair it anymore. If you try to repair it now, it's like straight up saying you're going to put a piece of tape over a wound that's completely, you need surgery on it. That's exactly the state that WB is in right now. And it hasn't been overnight. It's been for years. That's what I'm telling y'all. We can't give up. We have to keep on fighting. And we will continue to keep on fighting. Because again, we will stop at nothing. That's where all this model falls into play. We're doing it for Zach. We're doing it for the fans. We're doing it because we care and we love this brand. And it's awesome, you know? And we're also doing it for Autumn, Zach's daughter, RIP, you know? Because this is what we do. We are not like James Gunn sick followers. We're better than that. And we know it. They know it. This is why I'm telling you things are shifting and they will continue to shift in the good side. All right. For James Gunn and everything, that's all going to go downhill. I'm telling y'all straight up. I'm calling it. I've been saying this for a few days now. What I'm about to tell you right now. Mark my words. Once Superman flops, James Gunn, DC, David Zaslav, everybody that's on his side are going to bounce. They are going to abandon ship. And in the end, James Gunn is going to go back crawling to Marvel and Disney. And then he's going to be working with Marvel and Disney so they can set up Secret Wars. Remember, Guardians of the Galaxy had a big role and they were all part of Endgame. So you think that the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be passed to somebody else? No. That's James Gunn's baby, if you want to say. So he's going to go crawling back over to Marvel, and you will see that he will be back working with Disney and Marvel. And I told you since day one, he was sent to destroy everything at WB with DC so that they cannot compete with the MCU. But this is WB's turn to straight up redeem themselves. How? Bring back Ben Affleck, do the Batfleck movie. You're already gonna gain points right there. That's $1 billion movie right there. I'm telling you straight up. Just that it's announced, watch your stocks shoot up over 500. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I'm telling you straight up. You want those stocks like Netflix? Bring back Henry Cavill. Watch. Watch. You bring back Ben Affleck as Batman, and you bring back Henry Cavill, and you bring Gal Gadot. I'm telling you right now, if you do that, you're gonna surpass. I'm telling you straight up, you're gonna surpass Netflix stocks, or you're probably about to be on the same level as Netflix. You're gonna outdo Disney. You want that Disney money? This is how you get it. You restore the Snyderverse. That's it. You don't sell it, you restore it. And once it's announced that it's getting restored and it's making a comeback, let Zack do his thing. Do not interrupt him. The same way that Netflix has let Zack Snyder do what he has to do with Rebel Moon is the same way that you have to let Zack Snyder do his thing at DC. You want us to stop talking about the Snyderverse? You really want us to stop? Then give us what we want. Give it a proper ending. Once you give it a proper ending and you finish it, let Zack finish it how he wants it to be, then we will move on. Until that happens, again, this all falls under this whole movement of Restore the Snyderverse, which involves under that big umbrella, while it's closed, and make the Batflick movie, release the air cut, all those hashtags fall under the one big hashtag, which is Restore the Snyderverse. I want to see, and I know we will see Ben Affleck as Batman very soon. It's not coincidence that we're not seeing no updates with Robert Pattinson's The Batman 2. I'm telling you, things are going to change. Things are going to shift. It hasn't worked. It's not working, and it will not work at WB with DC without Zack Snyder. You need Zack Snyder. If Zack Snyder wasn't good at what he does, then why is the UFC hiring him to make a movie? Oh, that's right, because Zack Snyder's a brand and Zack Snyder sells. That's why. See what I'm saying? Only the delusional clowns are the ones that are like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen. Oh, you're the one that's delusional and blah blah blah." Right? Excuses upon excuses. Stop it. Accept it. That's the only way that you can make a comeback strong. You want that MCU money? You have to do what the fans have been asking you for a while. And you won't know until you actually do it. Just put a tease if you want. Just for the shit of it, for shits and giggles, just put out there, WB, hey, Snyderverse restored, and see how that trends all over the world. You don't believe me? Try it. But you don't know because you haven't done it. You have to do it in order to find out. And I guarantee you, you will see a lot of change in your company. And that right there is something that I'm telling you, the way that things are right now, I'm telling y'all straight up, it's about to change. You know, this whole Superman is not working for the studio. They know that it's straight up not working, and they have to have a backup. What's the backup? What do you think that they're gonna sell? No, they're not gonna sell. It's too much money. It's way too much money. They can't just sell that off to just sell it to whoever. Nah, you crazy? I'm telling you, WB is about to get taken over by Comcast because they're gonna start working together. And if Comcast requested, hey, we want to do DC alternative shows for our own platform, our own streaming service, which is HBO Max, why would they sell? It doesn't make sense, right? Now you see my point. This is why I've been selling. They're not going to sell. Sorry to burst that bubble to everybody. But the fact is that if they put all this content on HBO Max, what do you think is going to happen? Everything's going to go up. Subscribers, their numbers, the interest, the interaction. Everybody's going to be talking. The media, the fans, the stocks. That's already three different divisions that you're including all of this. And that's what they need. I'm telling y'all, things are about to shift for the good. For Ben Affleck to not deny it and say anything is possible, he's just trying to tell you, hey, it's just a matter of time. I'm sure Ben Affleck still talks to Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, the whole team, and they're like probably like, hey, if Zach is back, you're still down? They probably are like, hell yeah. We're just waiting to see how this whole reboot is going to turn out. And I'm sure they've all seen, especially Henry Cavill, all the memes that we want him back, that he's our Superman. You imagine? I'm telling y'all, my friends, things are going to change for the good. The toxic James Gunn fans have no hope. They know that there's no hope. They just want DC to become a full Marvel style cinematic universe. But it's not going to work. It hasn't worked. How come nothing has made the money that they thought? Nothing. Nothing. Creature Commandos, nobody's watching about that movie. I mean, that show, And the only reason why it's getting another season is because you have James Gunn that's in charge. So while he's still in charge, like anybody would do, you're going to use that power and you're going to do whatever you want. And that's what he's doing. I'm telling y'all, we're not going to see Supergirl. We're not going to see Lobo. Those are going to be tax write offs. I'm telling y'all straight up. And if it does happen, it could be on their platform. But, again, it's just straight to digital if you want. But nobody's going to care either. It's just there's no interest with that. This is why I'm telling you things are going to change and they're going to be good for us. This is why we have to keep on fighting and demanding what we want. And in due time, they're going to give it to us. This is why you see that when Joe was asked that he went, I guess, like on a dinner with James Gunn, it was brought up to him and he said it. No, that he's not. He's not coming back as Deathstroke. And that's good because it gives us even more hope. Because now we have Deathstroke, now we have Batman, we have Superman, we have Wonder Woman, we have the Flash, and we have what's his name? Cyborg. Like I said, we don't need Aquaman. We don't. He's already been replaced with Mera. So I'm fine with that. That's a nightmare timeline. We don't know what the hell Zach is cooking. We don't know what his plans are. We don't need Aquaman for it no more. He's done. Yeah, and I get it. That's a future event that happens when Darkseid takes him out. Who gives a shit? We don't need him. We can move on with Mera. That's it. What Zach is setting up, and then of course you have Joker there also. Come on, I'm ready. I'm ready to see the return of the Snyderverse. A lot of us are. The studio themselves must be too. They're like, hey, we need this money. Of course you need this money. Look at where you're at. You're literally about to go downhill. It's already down. You want your stocks up? Go ahead. Announce that the Snyderverse is restored once Superflop tanks at the box office. And you will see how everything's going to change. You will be powerful like you once were for 100 years. And seeing where WB is at right now, nobody wants to work with James Gunn. If you work with James Gunn, you just might as well say that you're straight up, like you're putting your career in danger. And it's just gonna backfire. It's going to backfire. Remember when Zachary Levi was kissing up to his friend, right? James Gunn, right? That's his friend, James Gunn. So the same way that James Gunn's friends with Zack Snyder, quote unquote, right? Yeah. Get out of here with that nonsense. I don't want to hear it anymore. Seriously, It's just telling you. Is this legit? Yeah, it's legit. It just came out today. Go look it up. That's why the source is right there. That's the link. Go look at it. They were asking him about it. And this is what he said. I'm telling y'all, things are changing. Things are changing for the good. This is why we have to keep on fighting for it. Zach is aware. The cast, the actors, all of them, they're all aware. They're seeing all this mess. This is why I've been telling you. With James Gunn, he's running the circus. And this clown, he's the clown of clowns, is completely running the circus straight to the ground. And once it all goes down and it completely tanks, look, WB is not going to renew that contract. And that, like I told y'all, this year, don't forget this year, sometime in the fall, I don't know when, but sometime in the fall, there's a rumor going around, all right, that Peter Safran's contract ends this year, all right? Because remember, Peter Safran started a year before James Gunn came on board. And this year, I think it marks already like the 4th year or something that he's been with WB. His contract is over. And rumor has it that they're not going to renew his contract. Ooh, but then they want to make him in charge of DC Studios or whatever it is they're trying to do. Let's be real, honestly. And then next year, what happens? Oh, that's right. James Gunn's contract is up next year. So you think WB, a studio that's been losing so much money with the bad leadership of James Gunn, is going to want to renew it again? It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. And then what happens? Look, I'm just speculating right now, right? Next year, we're supposed to get Supergirl and apparently Lobo. I don't know. But like I've been telling you, everything is right now with the weight of Superman on James Gunn's shoulders, and he knows it. He knows it. So if Superman tanks, which we know it's going to, once that tanks, WB has to move fast and be like, hey, what do we do with Supergirl and what do we do with Lobo? Simple. Do it like you did with Batgirl. You filmed it, you paid the actors, you did everything, and right now it's sitting in a vault somewhere in WB Studios, and you straight up did a tax write-off. That's it. That's all you got to do. You do the same thing with them, and that's exactly what you do, and you move forward. The same way that you did what you did to the Snyderverse, you do it to James Gunn and his reboot, and we go back and we pick up where things left off. As easy as that. That's it. That's real simple, right? It's doable. It's possible. That's it. And then what happens? Boom, make way for the Snyderverse. That's it. Because that's where your money was at. People were coming out to the theaters. People were going out there, you know? You can't come here and say, oh no, people weren't interested. People loved it. Oh, well, you had 2 or 3 shows from Rotten Tomatoes that didn't like it. But then WB got, they became cowards and they're like, oh, wow, because those 3 Rotten Tomato critics, we have to step in and we have to ruin our own product. Come on. Let Zack Snyder cook. Let him do what he has to. Batman versus Superman was supposed to be rated R. And look at what happened. We got the theatrical cut. I still like the theatrical cut. I enjoyed it. But of course, the uncut is much better. And what we got? Justice League. And that came out PG-13. And it didn't work. It didn't work. And then we got Zack Snyder's Justice League rated R. And look at how much everybody loves it. It's awesome. We all want 2 and 3. They have to be rated R. You have to let Zack do his thing. And that's where the studio needs to realize, hey, this is what the fans want. Let's give it to them. You're damn right. Give it to us. That's all we want. You give us that and we're good. And you're going to see. You're going to see it. Oh, they got a video of it? Oh, snap. We have to really look at that. So I would play it, but you already know I'm not even risking that. So, and I'm telling y'all, it's just, we have to stay on it. We have to. As we continue to get closer to Superman, the pressure has to be more upon the studio. They know it. They feel it. They hear it. They see it. And you know what WB is afraid of? Of real fans like you and me. They're scared when real fans come together. They're scared when real fans unite. They're scared when real fans hold their money and keep their wallets closed. That's what they're scared of. They don't want to lose out on that money. You wanted that Marvel money, you've been chasing it for a while, and it did not work. You wanted to be like the MCU, and we've already been 10 years into this mess. All you have to do is let Zack Snyder do his thing. Let David Ayer do his thing. Let Ben Affleck do his thing with the Batman. They even took away the name of the Batman and gave it to Robert Pattinson. And look at how that movie did. It didn't make the numbers. They thought, oh, it's going to make $1 billion. No, it didn't. It costed you more. And the same thing has been happening after everything Zack Snyder put out. Once Zack was out, everything started falling apart. And it just continues to crumble more and more every time. This is why when you see how this studio is in the mess that it's in, is because, hey, we screwed up. You damn right you screwed up. You should just straight up completely just given the fans what they wanted. The fan want, the Snyderverse to be restored. Just give it to them. You want that Marvel money? You finally want that Marvel money? All you have to do, look, let's be real. Once Superman is out of the picture, right? We don't have to worry about James Gunn and none of that no more because, of course, we know that James Gunn's going to go crawling back to Marvel, right? Because they're going to be working on Secret Wars. Remember, they're preparing everything for Doomsday and then Secret Wars, right? That's going to be massive. But you know how WB, you can redeem yourself and you make a strong comeback? You announce Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. You announce Zack Snyder's Justice League 3. And you let Zack do what he has to, along with David Ayer's Suicide Squad. That's how you go at with Marvel, and that's how you'll make your money. But you have to let them cook. If they want to do it R-rated, you let them do it R-rated. Marvel wants to be rated G for everyone, you let Marvel do that, Disney, because that's what Disney does, right? We know that DC has always been dark. We know that it's always been more brute, and it's always been more badass. Don't come at me with that. Because even the Batman from the 66 when he's carrying that big old, that big old ticking time, you know what it is, and then it goes boom, right? What do you think? Oh no, that was G, right? No, it wasn't. Come on, let's be real. And then what we got with Tim Burton and his universe that was dark, how was that? People loved it. They loved it. And then when we got into what Joel Schumacher gave us, nobody was supporting that. It got worse from the first one to the second one. Batman Forever was bad. Batman and Robin was even worse. And then what else we had? Boom. Once Christopher Nolan came back, he revived the whole Batman brand, and we got what we got. And then after that, what happened? Boom, the beginning of the DCEU with Man of Steel, and Christopher Nolan was involved. WB has sacrificed so much quality. They have given up on so much quality. The music, the actors, the actresses, the director, everything, story writers, everything. And they just completely said, you know what? We're going to toss all that away because apparently we don't like money and we're going to lose money, and we're going to even lose more money by hiring somebody again from the competition. James Gunn. See what I'm saying? And it didn't work with Joss Whedon, who made the Avengers, and it made Marvel slash Disney $1 billion. Marvel was, of course, happy with him. And then you have DC trying to pick up Marvel's sloppy seconds. Oh, we're going to bring in Joss Whedon because that's going to make us $1 billion. Ha, clowns, look at how much it costed you. It costed you even more because you had to spend money. This is why Justice League was so expensive. And this is not nobody's fault. This is just WB's fault. This is not even Joss Whedon's fault. It's not even Zack Snyder's fault. Let's look at the bigger picture. It's the studio's fault because the studio should have said, you know what? Zack had a tragedy and, an accident in the family. We're going to take a pause. But when Zack is ready, we'll pick up where he left off. That's it. And they would have been able to save all that money, right? No, but instead, they said, you know what? We're going to move forward with Justice League. And we got the mess that we got, right? Because, of course, we got Joss Whedon that's with the Marvel mentality also. And he's friends with James Gunn. So who knows what he was ratting to him. And then all of a sudden, the movie didn't perform the way that they wanted. Well, you should have said, we're going to wait until Zack Snyder's ready, and then we'll continue. But until then, we're not doing anything. We're pausing production on everything. So when he's back, we continue where we left off. And then what did they do? They moved forward. And then after 5 years, we got the Snyder Cut. And it costed the studio double because they had to put out more money. You could have saved that money by not hiring Joss Whedon. You could have saved that money by saying, hold on, we're going to wait. And then we'll see what we do when Zack is back. The same thing with Robert Pattinson. You didn't have to strip away from Ben Affleck the Batman title and give it to Robert Pattinson. You just didn't. You could have just said, you know what? We're going to wait. Ben Affleck is going through his problems, his issues. When he's better, then we'll pick up. Like a lot of music artists, a lot of actors, and whatever the things continue. People tend to take breaks, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to take a break because it's too much. It's, being on tour, moving around, flying, like they're completely, their schedule is very busy. So that can get to them. And that's what happened in these situations, unfortunately. And they're just like us. They're human beings, they're imperfect and they have their flaws. But when it comes to showbiz, they know how to put on a performance. And that's what happened. Ben Affleck set aside his problems. He gave us a good ass Batman, honestly, Say what you want about what's her name, Amber Heard and Ezra. I don't care about their personal lives. I only care about when they're on screen. That's it. I just want to see them put the performance. You're playing this role, this character, go ham and let's enjoy it. That's all I care about. I don't care what you do on your personal life. That's not my problem. It's not my concern, and I ain't going to do shit about it, honestly. And nobody of us are, This is why cancel culture is a joke, because all they do is talk and then they want to cancel you because they feel that you're not up to what they consider quote unquote normal. But again, when it comes down to this entertainment business, you have to give the fans what they want. This is why, like I say, I used the example of the Fast and Furious saga, that Universal gives the fans what they want. And when you give them that, you're going to make money. Yeah, I get it. Some people are like, oh, that series has gone down the drain. It doesn't matter. They're still making money. That's what matters. See what I'm saying? That's what matters. They're still making money. It's all connected. How many movies they have? Like 10 or 11, something like that. They're about to be to the 12th one. That universe is more solid than what DC is. That's more solid than what Marvel is. And that's just with cars. But that tells you, hey, we have to keep the fans happy. And that's what they're doing. They're keeping the fans happy, and the continuity continues. That's the same thing what Marvel is doing. The continuity continues. But when we look at DC, just scratch your head and capital WTF. What the hell? Like, who continues? Who's this? Who's that? Does this connect? No. How about that? I think it connects, but somehow it doesn't because it's a reboot. But this one's the first version. That one is the future version. Make it make sense. See how confusing that sounds? That's exactly what the shape of DC is right now. And what they need to do is let Zach do his thing, like Netflix. Rebel Moon. It's not complicated. This is not rocket science. This is just making a movie, letting the director do his thing. But what happens? You have people in the studio. They're like, you know what? I suggest we do this. And when you have too many people doing that, this is the mess that it causes. That's why when Ben Affleck says anything is possible, I'm looking at it. You know what? He's coming back. He's just hinting it. He's letting us know. He's low-key telling us, hey, keep on fighting. I'll be back. Things are being worked on. I'll be back. Anything is possible. I'll be back. Anything is possible. That's what anything is possible means. When you're trying to date somebody, hey, you want to go out? Maybe. What's a maybe? Oh, maybe could be yes, maybe could be no. But most of the time, maybe is okay. Yeah. So the same thing with this. Hey, WB, you want to make money? You have Ben Affleck. He's down for it. Hey, Ben, you want to do another Batman movie? You want to have your featured film? Anything is possible. How? Give me a check and anything is possible. Give me my royalties and anything is possible. You see what I'm saying? That's what anything is possible means. Is the Snyderverse going to make a comeback? Anything is possible. See what I'm saying? That's why I'm telling y'all. This is all shifting. It's all changing. I'm telling you, there's more people joining the fight. And WB is aware of that. There's more people. I see more Restore the Snyderverse on comments all over. And yes, you see people making fun of them and stuff like that. But it just shows you when people are scared, that's what they do. They're like, it's like the meme. Like, you don't really mean that, do you? You don't really mean that, do you? That's the same thing with this. Restore the Snyderverse. We will stop at nothing. Yeah. Keep on with your little hashtags, right? All those little hashtags. Let me remind you something. Those little hashtags got us the Snyder Cut. Ooh, reality check, right? You remember that when people were like, oh, hashtags don't work. Oh, it doesn't work, right? Oh, it doesn't work. So why are you using your hashtags for James Gunn's DCU? How come you're using like 1,000 hashtags to try to prove your point? Smells kind of funky to me, huh? That's the same thing about that. That's what I'm telling y'all. Yeah, that's true. With Zach, that he wanted Ryan Reynolds, and he was even down for it too, to come back as Green Lantern. But of course, we had Toby Emmerich, screwing everything and making everything difficult. That's why we didn't get it. And that's another thing too. Don't be surprised. That whole show for HBO Max with what is it called with the lanterns? That's also not gonna probably see the daylight. They're probably gonna cancel that probably mid through or probably towards the end of the season. They're gonna be like, you know what? No, this is costing us too much money. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. Honestly, Of course, there's a chance. There's always a chance. Again, anything is possible. I see. That's where it all plays into. That's why we have to. We have to keep on using that hashtag Restore the Snyderverse. It's big. People want it. The fans want it. And WB wants that money too. So if the studio's saying, hey, we want money, we can't afford to lose anymore, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board. And you're going to have to call Zach and say, hey, look, we need you to save us. That's the same thing that they're doing with the 300 prequel. They could have hired anybody. People. Any director out there. How come they're calling Zack Snyder back to do the 300 prequel? Oh, because that's right. WB knows that Zack Snyder has a following. WB knows that people are going to subscribe and see a 300 prequel on HBO Max because they know that Netflix are gaining traffic with Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. That tells you a lot. And when you see that happening, it's just, hey, it's obvious. Not once has Zack Snyder said to stop. Not once has Zack Snyder said, you know what, it's time to move on, because this is what the show's James Gunn salty clown fans like to say. Oh, they've moved on. Oh, they're too old. Oh, really? I'm glad you said that. Let me point something out. I'm glad. So to all the James Gunn fans or anybody that says that these actors or actresses are too old to reprise their role, are you aware that when the Flash, right? When the Flush came out, Michael Keaton was like 70 or 71 after what, like 30, 32 years that he hasn't put on the cape and cowl. He came back to do that movie, and that movie still flopped, right? Not even Michael Keaton could save it. What does that tell you? Dude's 71, right? But that's okay, right? It's okay to let Michael Keaton, that's 71, reprise his role as Batman. Oh, but it's a problem for Ben Affleck, right? Because Ben Affleck is what, 50, 49, maybe 52, 51, around there? Oh, that's a problem, right? Oh, we have to recast Henry Cavill because he's too old. What? He's 30 something? He's 30 something. You're going to tell me that 30 something is old? You're going to tell me the same thing with Gal, who just turned 40 and she looks amazing? Get out of here. That's what the delusional people like to say. They always try to put an excuse to justify something. That's how they work. And that's exactly how the James Gunn fans are. They always have an excuse with an excuse to top an excuse. That's it. That's all that comes out of them. An excuse. They can't accept the hard reality. And the reality is that Zack Snyder is going to come back. The Snyderverse is going to get restored. The air cut is about to be released after Superman tanks everything. I'm telling you down completely, completely. And it's just incredible to see how there's still a lot of people still fighting. Honestly, it's amazing, amazing. That's what I'm saying. This is right here. This took me by surprise today. I'm like, I'm here just chilling, minding my own business, doing my things. Like y'all been seeing that I'm posting up and stuff like that. And I got notified and I was like, no, I didn't see this. What is this? I was like, what? Oh, snap. Okay, damn, this is legit. We got to talk about this. I was like, let's just go live and talk about it. And then here we are. Here we are. We're talking about it. And like I said, the point is that the Snyderverse and that quality is making a comeback. Exactly. This dude that's playing Green Lantern or what is the Lantern or whatever the hell, I don't even know. James Gunn, Nathan, he's 54. Oh, but that's not old, right? That's not old, right? Oh, because it's James Gunn and it's the James Gunn chills. So we have to accept what they say, right? Come on, get out of here. That's why we will stop at nothing. The studio knows it. They know that we continue to fight and demand this. And while we talk about this, let me give some shout outs. All right. Let me just give some shout outs from the top of my head. All right. I know that there's some of us that are still out here fighting, and I want to acknowledge y'all and I want to say thank y'all because y'all have the following. I'm still a small channel, and I've seen these channels how they continue to grow. And I'm gonna be real with you. Channels like Aaron Fisher, Harsh Critics, Lethal Geeks, Snyder Queen, I can't remember anymore from the top of my head. I know there's more. The 4KO, we're doing an amazing job. And that's what WB, James Gunn, and all these clowns don't want. They want us to be, oh, well, it's not going to happen. Let's not talk about it no more. That's what they want. They fear when we all talk and we expose them. This is why we have to call it how it is. They don't like that. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm going to tell you straight up how it is. WB doesn't like that. And you can tell that not many people like to hear that because my views don't lie. When people don't want to hear the reality, you know what they do? They don't listen to it. They turn away from it. They're scared of it. You don't get the numbers. You don't get the views. Oh, because I'm not shilling? Because I'm not out there licking asshole? I'm not. And I won't. And that's the difference. See what I'm saying? So to all the YouTubers that I just said, and probably you're out there new too doing the same thing, keep on fighting. Keep on telling the studio what you want. When you demand that and you tell them exactly what you want, they are going to have to give us what we, the fans, want. There's no and, ifs, or but. We're getting close to Superman, and there's still no trailer. That tells you everything. How is this studio so blind and so gullible to think that James Gunn is going to save them? Honestly, how? James Gunn has a Marvel and a Disney agenda to carry, and he's fulfilling it. You did this, WB. You brought this upon yourself. All this mess that you're in is because of you and your executives. You allowed this to happen. You could have avoided this. You could have been making money. You could have been on top of Marvel, but you dropped the ball and you have to accept it. The fans have been telling you what we want. That's all it is. And in the end, you're going to have to accept the reality. And I'm telling you straight up, it's crazy. It's crazy. But again, we the fans, the true fans, are focused, and we're going to get what we want in due time. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see all this. We're picking up momentum again. It's starting to get the ball rolling. And as we continue to get closer to James Gunn's Superman in July, I'm telling you right now, notice this. The ticket sales, the pre-sale tickets in Japan are already up for sale. How come we're not talking about that they're selling out? Oh, that's right, because they're not selling out. See what I'm saying? You're starting your pre-sale tickets right now. How come they're not moving the way that you want them? How come McFarlane Toys with the merchandise that they're putting out isn't selling? Oh wow, it sold out when it got announced. Yeah, I know. Those 100 orders sold out. Wow, right? For all the people. I mean, it's kind of obvious that's going to happen. How come they're back in stock? How come they're all overstocked right now? And don't be surprised. Most of that merchandise will be going on clearance and it will end up at Ross. You will see. And it's going to be like the Eternals from Marvel. It's going to end up at the last stop, which is Ollie's, unfortunately. But that's where we know that whatever merchandise goes out to end up at Ollie's means that nobody was interested in that. And that's what awaits this whole reboot for the DCU. They know it. The studio knows it. They're aware of it. And in due time, they're going to have to understand that this war, symbolic, invisible war that we've been fighting for, because we know what we believe in, they're going to have to accept and say, you know what? They were wrong. We were right all along. Zach has been right all along. Ben Affleck has always wanted to play this role, and might as well make it happen now. Because after Superman, if you do not restore the Snyderverse, there's nothing left with the studio anymore. There's none, you know? And they have to accept it. They have to know that that's the reality of what's coming, you know? It's unfortunate, but they have to learn and understand one way or the other. I'm telling y'all, my friends, Ben Affleck is giving us hope the same way that Zack Snyder continues to give us hope. And we see Henry Cavill and we see Gal out there. We don't worry about their personal problems. We worry about the actors and actresses reprising their roles with the director, with the music composers, and everything. Because in the end, we will get what we want and it will pay off, you know? Ben Affleck confirming this came out today, May 4th, 2025. He's confirming and saying, would he reprise his role as Batman? Anything is possible, my friends. Anything is possible. That's him saying, I'm not denying it, but I'm also not saying that it's not going to happen, you know? So he's letting us know, hey, anything is possible. Let that speak on its own. But again, I want to thank y'all for watching. I truly appreciate everybody for tuning in and all that good stuff. This was something that we really had to talk about. Don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. We will stop at nothing. Keep those wallets closed because in the end, we will get the Snyderverse restored and everything will make a comeback and it will be better than what it was before. Trust me and believe me. I'm telling you straight up. That right there, my friends, is the facts. As always, hit that subscribe, share the videos, keep up to date with all the content, everything, stuff like that. I'm actually right now working on a little project, nothing big, it's just a fan made type of thing. So you guys can see that, hey, look, I'm not talk. I actually, make films and stuff like that. So I am actually working on 2 little small productions, but I'll keep y'all updated and all that good stuff. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy your Sunday. We will stop at nothing, restore the Snyderverse, release the air cut, and until next time, peace.